Are you ready? All right. Bring the juice. We are here. The Mercury collab, the colossal Mercury event for Bring the Juice so far. Adam, long time coming. Fire me up. Could not be more excited to be here. One of the biggest stages of football. If awesome. Not the. It is the.
No, it is the biggest stage. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger.
No.
How about a Super Bowl in Vegas?
In Vegas.
It's like, it's shit you dream about, man. Like you can't even make this up.
It's next level.
49ers, Chiefs. I mean, dude,
great franchises.
I gotta say, you are crushing it here too. The content you got yesterday with Will Compton, with the other, what's the other guy's name?
Taylor was there. Yeah, Taylor the one.
You got Bert, dude. The Bert when he said,
Bruce Buffer fired me up.
Dude, I mean, you were. I didn't even know you had this whole setup. This
I'm
is
shooting.
Perfect, man.
Got to shoot to score. Got to shoot to score.
Upward trajectory, man.
Hey, I'm trying. You see that?
This is sweet.
Can a guy put on for the brand every once in a while? Come on, I'm a company man.
No doubt. He's a company man. He's a company man. But no, you've been crushing it. I've been wanting to come on the pod for a while, too. We've been trying to make it happen.
It's been a long time coming.
I will say, we had something scheduled one time for all the viewers.
Yes.
Something was scheduled, and then he got a bigger guest, and he canceled on me. So I do want to let everybody know.
I did. We were supposed to go to Philly, and then Nashville came about, and we were going to have 6 guests in Nashville, and they were kick-ass guests, and it was like...
Yeah, you had to do it.
You know how it is? These trips, airplane tickets are expensive, hotels get expensive, and it's like... What's logistically, makes the most sense. But we're here now, and this isn't just like, I saw Adam today, this is a cool little interview. No, man, it's a long time coming. We're going to the Noun in a couple weeks for the Oklahoma event.
Have you been there before?
I've never been to Oklahoma.
The Noun is really?
I've never been to OU.
So the Noun is beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing hotel. Where the event is, a little rooftop. So everyone check out on the Red Dirt Media Twitter account.
Yes.
We got an event for OU fans.
The Sooner Sit Down.
Yeah, you gotta
and
check it out.
There's 10 OU football players coming, and I think we actually, realistically, it's the thing now where like these players are like, hey, this is kind of a cool thing. I'd like to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, they're making some money. Like that's what it's all about nowadays. We're paying the players a few $100 to come show up for an hour, and they get free
dinner. And you're talking to great fans, shaking hands and kissing babies. Dude, there's probably business owners that are coming to this. They're going to get a great internship out of it.
That is one of the networking. That's one of the misconceptions of NIL is that everyone thinks every player is making $10 million a year.
No,
bro. The vast majority of players are making under 6 figures in NIL deals, where probably under less than that.
Some guys are making over 3,000.
I'm talking about Power 5.
Right.
The guys making over 6 figures are Power 5 skill players, right? The left tackles demand a bunch, defensive ends, but for the most part, like you're a linebacker starting at an ACC school, like you're not making much money. You're not making a salary in NIL.
Well, if you got a big personality, though, that's also the beauty of this NIL thing, where all of a sudden, maybe you're just a badass L2 on kickoff who's known for being rowdy, but guess what? You know how to talk to a business. You know how to articulate a message that could portray the combination of your university, your football program, your brand, and then this company. Now you got a good thing going.
100%. And that's where I think McAfee kind of changed the game a little bit, because a punter who wasn't a big name becomes the biggest name in sports. I mean, you walk around here, he's got a booth somewhere.
He's back there in the corner,
that thing's the most people around it at all times.
As it should be.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. As it should be.
And Pat is an absolute dog. If I had to see him, all I'd say is, dude, you're a fucking pioneer.
Yeah.
You're a pioneer. That's exactly what he is.
He was taking a piss beside me in the bathroom.
I was pissed next to Cam Newton. Yeah. I was like, that man's hat hits at least 8 feet. I'm like, dude, I'm not that tall.
He's massive, man.
He's big.
We need Cam on the show, man. Come on.
Hey, man, I'm checking my phone. There's rumors circulating. We'll see.
I may get booted off the show.
Hey, but if it's for Cam Newton, it's for a good cause. Adam, I wanted to ask, why was Mercury the name you guys went with when you decided to name the company?
Yeah, great question. It's funny. I actually joined Mercury after it already started.
Okay.
So Porter Grieve, who you know is the founder and CEO of Mercury, guy's an absolute beast, smart, works his ass off, connected as hell. So he actually started Mercury. It was a little bit of a different vision when he started it. Probably 3 years ago now, and then I joined, and that's when we transitioned fully into a media company.
Okay.
We had these a few different things. I won't bore you with the details of the company, but we had these partnerships with schools for a different model, and we said, man, content is king, athlete-driven media, NIL, conference realignment. Everyone wants to be on camera, and we saw this perfect moment to take advantage of that opportunity, and we were in the middle, and then Porter needed a guy in media to be part of it, and that's when Porter, we met. We got along really well, and I loved the vision, and I joined as a co-founder to kind of pioneer us into the media space, and that's where. So I wasn't even part of the naming Mercury.
Yeah.
Where Porter did a great job is people call us our tagline is Mercury, the college sports company.
Right.
And the College Sports Co. has really caught on, where people sometimes even they think that's our real name, the College Sports Co., which it confuses some people, but I like it.
Yeah.
The College Sports Co., people know what we do. Our goal is to own college sports, every part of it. Yeah.
It definitely is taking it by a storm right now. I mean, how many universities are partnered with Mercury now?
Yeah, we got 5 partner universities, but now we have 12 podcasts and building content networks. We have a roster of talent, you included, that is a bunch of different shows and personalities and athletes, former athletes, people that are connected, and people that really just want to build their brand. That's our thing. We want athletes at different schools. If you want to be on camera, you want a podcast, like, we're the ones that come to. We're the ones that can do it.
I think it's such a great vision and opportunity, especially in today's world where this, like you said, content is king. And there's a lot of guys who have great stories, great personalities that don't quite know how to get the microphones, find the right cameraman, piece it all together. And then, like anything, you guys, the structure of Mercury, it keeps the structure in place for these guys. You got to stay accountable and consistent. Hey, we're supposed to release on Tuesdays. You better have an episode on Tuesday. You got to report here then. And athletes, when you're given a schedule, it makes it really, really easy.
You know what's funny thing about back when we were in college? How old are you?
20. I'm now 27.
27. Okay, I'm older than you. Back when I was in college and you were in college, if I would have told Bill O'Brien I wanted to start a podcast when I was playing, he would have laughed me out of the room.
Out of the room.
He would have said, you're not a ball guy.
Yeah.
And now it's
distraction.
Distraction, right? No, I can't even imagine if I would have said that. If I told anyone, hey, I want to do content, I want to have a podcast, it would have been a joke. But now it's changed, and the tides have changed, and coaches have podcasts now. So it's really cool to see, and I'm glad that we're right in the middle of it.
It's right smack dab in the middle. What's the next step you think for Mercury?
Yeah, man, we for us right now, we have our 5 partner schools. We're trying to really prove out our model and build the best content networks at each school.
Right.
At Penn State, it's State Media. At Oklahoma, Red Dirt Media, which you're helping us on the event side. It's as a business operator, you have a decision. Do you want to scale really fast and go to 100 schools, but maybe not quite do as well at each school as you could, or do you want to have 5 to 10 schools and absolutely dominate and be the face of it? So it's, again, do you want to do 100 schools and do $100,000 in revenue at each, or do you want to do 5 schools and do $1 million in revenue at each? It's just however the numbers work out. But that's the decision. We made the decision to bunker down and really prove out our model at Oklahoma and Penn State and do the best possible content you can. And then for us, too, there's a whole other side of the business with our in-house production team where a lot of collectives now, NIL collectives, are coming to us and saying, we see your content.
Right.
We want that. What do we have to do?
Right.
When we're not scaling our content network to different schools, so now it's become an agency business, production for hire. Hey, we'll produce the content for you. We'll produce a show. We'll come interview your athletes. But here's what it costs. And now that's a scaling part of the business for us too.
You personally, let's dive into your athletic career.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through a little chronological timeline here. So let's start off at Penn State.
Yeah.
Okay. You decide, boom, I want to be an Nittany Lion.
Yeah.
Tell me what got you there and your experience at Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, my final 4 schools were Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Now, the time that I picked Penn State, I don't know, you're a West Coast guy, so I don't know how well you know all this.
I'm aware.
But you remember the Penn State scandal.
I remember. Couldn't play in a bowl game.
Couldn't play in a bowl game. So when I went to Penn State, it was in the middle of the Penn State scandal. And there were a lot of people who thought it's
a bold move, Cotton.
Bold move going to Penn State, right? There was a lot of people that Penn State wasn't the cool place to go, and there was a lot of hate all over the country about it. But Christian Hackenberg, who you know, and myself, a bunch of other guys that were from the area, loved Penn State, said, hey, let's do this thing for something bigger than ourselves. We love Penn State. We love the community. And I remember Bill O'Brien saying to us, because he was the coach recruiting us, he said, if you come to Penn State during this time, you'll be remembered at Penn State forever. Wow. And it's cool now when I go back. I mean, Noah's with me a bunch. Like when we go back, people say, people say, it's not always like, hey, we love your playing career. Sometimes it's about the podcast, but more often than not, it's thank you for what you've done for Penn State, and thank you for coming to Penn State when you did, because my commitment and Christian Hackenberg's, and there were a lot of guys part of it, brought some hope and some light for that university when they needed it the most.
When the culture needed it to be uplifted at a low point.
It was a dark time, man. I mean,
shit, man, that's tough. And it's not like, not talking crap on any other schools out there, but Penn State's a blue blood, man.
Yeah.
It's an absolute blue blood.
Yeah.
So at what point did you know you're done with your athletic career? I know you had a coaching stint.
Yeah. Short, brief coaching stint.
I get it. Hey. You did.
Yeah.
You did.
All right. They fired me. Yeah.
Fuck. Hey, I'm 1-0 versus Arizona State. Fuck Arizona State. But
You know who was on that staff? Not to interrupt your question.
What?
That Arizona State staff was loaded. Herm Edwards, Antonio Pierce.
Oh, really?
Marvin Lewis. Antonio Pierce, one that hired me at Arizona State.
Wow.
Marvin Lewis.
He's here.
He's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Walking around. Jaden Daniels was our quarterback. Johnny Wilson, the Florida State tight receiver, was on the team. What's the running back's name? Rashad White was on there. Anyway, loaded time at Arizona State. Herm, Antonio Pierce.
What year was this?
2020 and 2021 during COVID. Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy. Anyway, I interrupted your question.
No. At what point did you say, okay, I have a knack for this, being behind a microphone, looking at games? Is it something you saw yourself doing?
Yeah. I always thought that I could be in media. I felt like when I stopped playing, I'm sure you had the same thing. I felt like there were a lot of different paths I could go down, right?
Shit,
it was
man.
like, man, do I want to be in media? Do I want to be in business? I liked politics. Do I want to be in politics? Do I want to, do I want to be in real estate? Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember actually talking to Coach Franklin, Penn State's head coach, about it, who I played for a little bit. When I got done playing, I went in his office. I said, Coach, I can't decide what I want to do. Like, I can't tell, do I want to coach? Do I want to be in media? And I was like, I just had this dilemma. And he's like, Adam, every person goes through that dilemma that's successful.
Yep.
He's like, Coach Franklin was like, I could do a million different things too, but I chose coaching. You got to pick what you want to do. So I thought it was coaching for a second. I coached for 2 years, as we just talked about. And then some things happened at Arizona State. Coaching career I was rising fast, and that was a tight ends coach at 25.
Hell yeah, that's crazy.
And, but then, man, I mentioned McAfee. I saw the McAfee movement. I saw a bunch of guys have a lot of success in media that were former players. And I also saw college football had a gap, I felt like, where there were older personalities like Kirk Herbstreit, like Joel Klatt, like all these guys that owned that audience on TV, but who was owning social media, who owned content, and who owned Gen Z and millennials. And I didn't think there was anyone.
It's
really.
wide open.
I thought it was open. And I also felt like, one, I was a 5-star recruit. I was an All-American at 2 different schools. I went through the transfer process. I went through the NFL draft process.
The old one.
The old one, before the portal. I went through the NFL draft process, retired right before it because of my knee, coached for 2 years. I've seen every aspect of college football up close in person.
Yes.
Like, I know football and college football recruiting, development, playing, coaching as well as anybody.
Right.
And I was like, I can go make a career in media because I've seen every part of it, and I know I'm going to be good on camera, and I'm going to work my butt off, and I have the business acumen, because it's a business at the end of the day.
It's a business.
So that's when I went all in, and I said, screw it, I'm going to go all in on content. Went all in on TikTok, Instagram, and every opportunity I've had now, TV, brands, podcast interviews, it's all started with content.
What was your major in school?
Business management. I have an MBA from UMass.
Dude, I'm an ag business major.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be a podcaster in my life. But you've always been good at talking to people?
Yeah, I feel like I always, honestly, I think a lot of the recruiting process.
Yeah.
Like being a big recruit, going to Penn State when I did. Man, when the sanctions came out at Penn State, there were TV trucks lined up in my front yard. I mean, I was 17 years old. So like you had to grow up really fast and learn how to talk to the media. And when I was at Penn State with Coach Franklin, everyone on the team used to call me the governor.
Governor. I love it.
Because I would just, I would be holding court in the press conferences. So yeah, it's always come kind of natural. But, too, you learn a lot about how to actually conduct yourself on camera, how to act, how to hold a microphone, right? Like, when I first started, I'm like, you learn a lot about everything. And so I'm still learning and still developing. But, yeah, it's always come natural.
What do you think, I know that you started calling games.
Yeah.
What was that first game, that pressure like, hey, dude, bullets are flying now, man.
First game on
bullets
TV.
Are flying.
All right, so live television is a whole different beast. My first game on TV was brutal. ESPN hits me up and they say, hey, can you call the Akron-St. Francis game on ESPN Plus with like a week notice? So I'm like, sure.
Is this football?
Football. Yeah, it's Akron's home opener against Division I AA or FCS St. Francis. Live on ESPN Plus. And what happens on live TV is you have an earpiece in or you have a headset on. So I'm in the booth, so I have a headset on. So a producer talks to you during the game. What people don't realize is like, as I'm talking, a lot of times a producer is talking in my ear. So he'll be saying during the game, replays coming up, it's going to be the tight end route. So I know what I'm about to see on the TV. Or producer will say like, hey, go into commercial break in 10 seconds, talking to me while I'm calling the game.
Right.
Now, what you got to remember is that you can't, there's a button if you want to talk to the producer. So if I want to talk back to the producer, I press this button and it mutes my mic on TV, and I can say to the producer, hey, show me this replay. Hey, well, my first time on TV, my producer's talking to me. I forget to press my button to mute myself, and I start talking back to him on TV. So he's like, Adam, we're going to commercial break. I said, all right, I'll take it from here. And I'm just like, and I'm actually talking on TV. Did it multiple times, forgot to press my talkback button. Luckily, I've never done it since, but the big thing you gotta learn is how to talk with someone talking in your ear the whole time, because it's distracting. I'll be making a point, what a route by the tight end, look how he sticks his left foot in the ground. All meanwhile, the producer's like, new replay coming in 3 seconds, and I'm like, you're trying to.
That's hard to process in the brain right there, man.
That. A lot of coffee up there.
A lot of coffee up there. Who's your guy that you like to look at as kind of an inspiration that you'd want to be similar to, or who tools to add to your toolbox?
I think on TV, Joel Klatt does a really good job with Fox. I think he's really high level and breaks the game down really well and communicates well. Herbie's obviously one of the best.
Man, he's a GOAT.
Easy to say. There's a lot of guys doing a good job, man. I think one of my good friends is Jake Butt from Michigan, who call games for Big Ten Network. He does a phenomenal job on TV. And then I think in like the content space, like we talked about, McAfee's
king.
The pinnacle, right? Like how do you garner attention? At the end of the day, attention's the number one currency. Who has attention? And that guy's got attention everywhere he goes.
Yes.
So how do you garner attention? I tell our team all the time, like I want us on social media to just be unbearable. Like you can't even
We're everywhere.
You can't not see us anywhere. It's like all the time, because that's how you garner attention online. That's what we're trying to do.
Adam, your inner athlete in you know, let's talk the athlete side. As you continue to grow in business, what are some of the foundations from your sports career that you keep in your back pocket?
Yeah, great question, man. I think something I learned in my sports career with all the adversity I went through was just the power of a positive attitude. It was one of our core values at Penn State. Coach Franklin used to always say, like, positive attitude. Never really knew what it meant. And what I learned is that if you can stay positive through all the dark times and when you hit adversity, because you will face adversity.
It happens, inevitable.
It happens to everybody. If you can stay positive, there's always light in the tunnel, and a lot of times the best things in life happen to you right after the worst things happen.
Yep.
So when I had my issue at Arizona State and had to leave, when I got hurt in the NFL in football, it was how do I stay positive through it all and not let it affect me and not let it affect my personality, not let it affect my work ethic, and keep going. The positivity brings you through that, and then great things happen. I think if you ask a lot of my teammates that I played with, even when I was going through the injuries at Penn State and couldn't play, the one thing I think a lot of them would say is that he was a positive guy all the time, always fun to be around, always in a great mood in the locker room, even when you wouldn't know that I would just miss 2 seasons playing. So that's my number one thing I tell people all the time. The power of a positive attitude, it's contagious for other people.
All right, my last question, because I know you got to go, but what gets you fired up more than anything, Adam? You going.
What gets me going?
Gets you going, fired up.
That's a great
pumping
question.
The geese.
Like football-wise?
Thunderstruck through the veins. I'm talking like, it's just like fuck yeah, baby, let's go.
Right,
what gets you going?
I'll tell you one thing
let's
right now.
Let's
A
go.
tight end touchdown on the goal line.
Oh, little pop pass?
Pop pass. If you're on the goal line, I just saw Clay Harbor, who played for the Eagles, I was telling him this. If you give me the goal line, we're like 1 yard line, and you give me a little tight end sneak route out the backside,
crispy.
I mean, you talk about getting me going now. that fires me up.
Oh,
nothing
man.
more than that.
Have you had a moment on TV yet where that happens and you're standing? That's what I'm talking about,
100%.
baby.
It's funny. My play-by-play guys always, when it gets to the goal line, I'm like, look out for the tight end pass. They're always like, oh, here we go. Breneman predicts the tight end pass. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what gets you going? That's what I want to know. This,
dude. I've been asked this.
You could take this a lot of different ways. I didn't know what you were going with there.
I mean, okay, if you're talking from football, I think your classic special teams play. I was a special teams dude. That's how I found the bus.
Yeah.
Just a simple like L2 fits his fucking gap.
Yeah.
Fucks his dude up. Talks a little shit, might have been a touchback. Who cares? Also, I was a punt block guy.
Oh.
You get your finger on one of those?
That's one of the better feelings.
Oh, my God.
The best is a punt block guy. I never really was one, but I did it in high school, is when you see the shield and you can see they're scared. Dude. You can see they're scared and they're like shaking in their boots. They don't want it, and you just run them right over.
I made a living on punt return.
Yeah.
And we used to throw out the most absurd shit. Great. Check alpha. And these guys, like, their eyes are looking like this. And realistically, if you're on the shield in college, most of the time it's like your second string center, left
tight end
guard, sometimes a big tight end, a hefty tight end.
Guys,
and you don't know, like you'll be training like, oh yeah, they got number 86, 92, and whoever. All of a sudden you look out there, hey, we got some different guys.
No doubt.
We got some different guys.
They're out.
I don't know, it gets me going, man. It
good.
fires me up. But Adam, we're gonna keep things going. I know you got a big week on Radio Row. We'll collab more and more. The Noun, February 17th, Sooner Sit Down. We're gonna get rowdy.
Yeah.
I gotta get like an Oklahoma colored blazer.
My sport coat, man.
I need an Oklahoma colored blazer.
I like that, man. What you've done with the Bring the Juice brand, the way you're wearing it,
I appreciate it.
Buy the merch, run it up. I mean, everyone
run the merch. We got some hot shit coming in.
Yeah, I love it. You're crushing it, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Adam. Mercury.
Let's go, baby.